the lower right position, we do have the blue Protoss player. It is gonna be playing for Team Annexus. It is Verdi. And his opponent, the Red Terran, who looks so strong in Game 1 with the Endless Harassment, but unfortunately succumbed to a Protoss might. It is playing for Team Western Wolves, Sting.
And Verdi winning that game number 1, actually, with a very, very impressive timing push there on Cloud Kingdom. Sting did some pretty hero micromanagement there with some of his ghosts, but unfortunately it wasn't enough, sniping off a lot of High Templar towards the end of that game. But great use of the Mothership Core and good use of the sustained attacking earns victory a 1-0 lead in this best of 3.
So the one thing I want to highlight from Game 1 was that Sting had the most incredible snipes, which allowed him to hold off the first wave of aggression from Verdi. And they were absolutely on the money, showing that Sting has got such high micro potential. So what I'm really looking for this game is what he's going to do, whether he's going to try and utilize that, whether he's going to go for the same really aggressive, pretty much every minute push in to Verdi's base that nearly won him Game 1, or whether he's going to switch it up and try and just go straight towards the late game. And I don't know what your thoughts on this are, Joyce.
To be honest, we've just been seeing so many lovely moments here in this tournament so far that I'm kind of living from game to game, if that makes sense, just waiting to see what the next one will be. I don't have expectations other than I think we're going to see a pretty awesome game. And this is quite a nice map to have a game number 2 on as well. It's one of the most beautiful maps I think I've ever seen in StarCraft.
You know, we're in a lucky situation when we've got incredible players, incredible games, and of course, incredible maps to look at. Like, what more could we actually hope for? It's beautiful, it's fun, and it's exciting.
And Nick giving us a lowdown of the smiley face on the map, of course. Most beautiful map in the map pool, and all he can look for is where he can find smileys.
To be fair, even the map knows how pretty it is. It smiles as well.
Like, that is true. Okay, there we go. Nice one, Nick. I like that. That's actually really...
it's really cool. Like, I like this map.
You're basically playing on a gigantic mothership.
Yeah. And it kind of looks like 2 PlayStation controllers put head to head, don't you think?
I see where you're going. And
I'm just trolling you. For anyone just joining us,
I can almost see that, actually. That's quite frightening.
This is a conspiracy, I reckon. Like, we just model every map after various consoles.
I don't know, man. Nintendo 64 is going to be a tough one.
It'll probably be done. Like, someone should make that map. That would be awesome.
The N64 map. I'd play it. That'd be awesome. Possibly the best console of all time. There, possibly. I said it.
Mario Kart. Mario Kart.
Mario Kart. There isn't a version of Mario Kart that's better than the version on the N64. That is actually just accepted fact.
Or Super Smash Brothers.
Or Super Smash Brothers, exactly. Or even a Mario game that's better than Mario 64.
It was just all amazing. But we should probably talk about this game, which of course cannot be played on consoles. Unless, of course, you are that crazy guy from Reddit who plays with an Xbox controller, wasn't it?
Oh, dude, if he hits GM or something, I'm actually going to blow my mind. That's amazing. I'd love to
like GG no re. Just like...
Yeah, it's like, I can't even begin to reach your level. This is amazing. So we've got a quick robo coming out from Verdi in this game. We do see Sting on the 1 gas at the moment with combat shields before Sting. It's worth noting he did go for concussive shell first, and he is going for a little bit of a timing here against Verdi early on. Now Verdi has expanded, so this kind of concussive shell timing is designed to punish Protosses that expand early. Let's see if he can pull it off.
It's going to be very, very tough too. The army supply is 10 to 15, but well, Sting, he does have that expansion down now. We see this infantry moving forward. And while the force fields will protect the main very comfortably, this natural almost certain to fall now.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, normally what happens is the attack could hit slightly earlier and the natural doesn't actually go down because it gets cancelled. But in this particular case, we're actually seeing that backfire a little bit because the natural has completed. Sting took a little bit longer than normal, had 3 or 4 Marauders when normally you would hit with 1 or 2. And as a result, the Mothership Core coming out just in time to provide a photon overcharge.
That was such a lovely timing on that Mothership Core. I was worried it wasn't quite going to have enough energy, But now I'd say Verdi, he's held that off well. This small little force isn't going to be able to deal with what Sting's getting out now, with what Verdi's getting out rather, and Sting is going to be forced to pull back.
Oh, decent force field there, but has he overextended slightly? There's a healthy amount of bio still here, focusing down the mothership core, and Sting at the moment is actually taking apart the units from Verdi. It's going to be a close fight, but Verdi did not want to lose this many units. The mothership core as well is only on about a third health, and I don't think Verdi needed to push out there. Yes, he won the fight, but I think he could have taken significantly fewer losses by waiting another minute and having a few more zealots.
I've got to say, I think Verdi moved out expecting Sting not to take the engage. I reckon he moved forward thinking that Sting would be like, okay, there's a lot of units there, I can't win this fight, I'm going to run. And that actually caught, from the way I viewed it, that Verdi wasn't expecting that and therefore kind of got forced into an engagement that he felt a bit too confident about. But now the counter aggression is coming on. But there's enough stuff here, in my opinion, for Sting to hold this. And as such, Verdi just pulling back with all those units. And I think that is the right choice now.
Yeah, I think at the moment, Verdi knows he's in a decent position. He knows he's going to be able to comfortably hold his natural. And he's destroyed the incoming force from Sting from earlier. So he knows that Sting is going to have at least a couple of minutes now where he needs to tech up, needs to finish the rest of his upgrades, and slowly replenish his army. So right now, Verdi is using that opportunity to tech up. The Twilight Council is down, Immortals are popping out left and right. He has to be feeling pretty comfortable.
Exactly, with the Twilight Council there, with the Immortals coming out, with a sizable force on the ground, the supply advantage, the worker count advantage, even with mules, there's an 11 worker lead for Verdi, and that just means that even with those mules, he should still have a greater income. And with the 4th gas up as well, whereas Sting only on 3 gases for the time being, this is just stacking everything in Verdi's favor. And as a result, our Terran player, he's going to be having to do something impressive fairly soon.
Oh, and impressive does not involve being very heavily supply blocked on 62 as well. Sting, unfortunately, for at least 20 in-game seconds there, was capped at 62. The observer from Verdi spots that we have got a small Bioforce moving back out towards the natural. He'll note that it's just the Bioforce. We don't really see any medevacs or anything, so he's perfectly comfortable moving forward to take it out. And Sting's going to try and be annoying here, but there's nothing realistically he can do to damage the Protoss right now.
Those 2 Immortals would just take up half Marauders like there was no tomorrow. The Starport is now just finishing up, so the first medevacs are going to be hitting once the switcheroo goes down on that factory. But as we've said, this is just purely infantry against what is starting to look a very sizable and very scary force for Verdi.
I think Verdi, he's got an army supply lead at the moment of 53 to 44, but it's the quality of that army at the moment that really impresses me. He's got 3 Immortals out right now. His sentries have a decent amount of energy, and the Mothership Core is almost at full energy. So if he uses this effectively, he can really make Sting hurt right now. And if we take a quick look, Sting's only just now getting his first 2 medevacs out. He is getting the Ghost Academy on the way, but I feel like at this point of the game, he's actually quite vulnerable.
I've got to agree with you there, but the one thing Verdi's doing, which I really personally like, is I think he knows that he's ahead, and he's keeping a good force of the natural, but also keeping the Mothership Core and a few Zealots just at the back of his main, making sure that if there were a drop to come down, he would be able to defend it quite comfortably. And that is really important, because a drop which was undefended could actually get you back into this game if you are the Terran player. So what we've got to see now is Sting really be careful, because one bad engagement and he will definitely be a long way back. But Verdi as well, if he overcommits, he could run into some problems. He doesn't have Storm yet, and there's a big Marine Marauder medevac force on its way across. Oh
no, another massive supply block on 102 from Sting as well. This is not the kind of thing he would have wanted, as his forces are moving out across the map right now. Verdi is completely comfortable with taking this, forcing a stim out of Sting there. And both sides are going to back off. Verdi currently has a 132 to 117 supply lead, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a slow push coming out of our Protoss very soon.
Now this drop is preparing, but does get spotted by a probe, and as such we see the Verdi does still have his drop defense there. He knows that he's ahead, he's just waiting for that storm, and I think it was very wise that he didn't try and go for that engagement, but rather just forced a stim, because even though I think he probably would have won a straight up fight there, the problem was that without Storm, he wouldn't have an option to really definitely take it, and would have taken a lot of losses. So it's always better to be a little bit cautious. He's getting ready, he's putting a pylon out, looking to take a third, but those Widow Mines just sitting outside of Sting's natural could potentially catch Verdi off guard. But here comes a double drop towards the natural.
And here we go. We actually have a High Templar, two High Templars in place. They do have feedback ready and the cannons there as well. And it looks like that's enough to entice Sting to just move on out. And behind this, Verdi's just going to be calmly taking his third base. Basically asking Sting, what are you going to do? I know you're stuck on 2 bases right now. You're afraid to expand because you know my army's actually quite scary. So here I come. He's getting +1 armor before +1 weapons. I like that choice, allowing those zealots to tank a bit more damage. +2 armor is about to complete for him as well. And he's going for that robotic space, so he can switch it up into Colossus tech. That's going to be very useful with that range against the ghosts as well.
So this is where we're getting into the very traditional late game PvT. Once you start getting those Colossi out, it's all up to the Terran to balance the Ghost and Viking numbers. And if Sting overcommits to either, he will run into problems. But for the time being, we see that Verdi has nearly completed his 3rd Nexus, and as such, he's going to be on 3 bases. Those Widow Mines are getting all those units getting dangerously close to the Widow Mines. One connects to that. Didn't actually get a Zealot, I don't think. So currently, Okend gives away their position.
It does indeed. I want to see. Verdi really should. Oh no, a 2nd Widow Mine now, and a 3rd one, and that kills an Immortal as well. Honestly, we need to see an Observer here. That really wasn't on. There we go. The Observer finally pops out and the Widow Mines go down. A little bit of damage taken from Verdi, and it looks like Sting is feeling comfortable moving forward. He has a lot of Ghosts, sniping a couple of units off, but the High Templar are not here, so we won't get those impressive snipes like we saw last game just yet. Sting now feeling okay to go aggressive.
He's got everything that he needs to be comfortable. He knows that High Templar are the only threat, so if he gets a good couple of snipes or EMPs, he should be fine. And there's a good EMP goes down there, a stim straight away for Sting. Well, a good number of Zealots, a Storm not really on the money there, and now it's just Sting kiting his way back. Starter step micro to the max, a few defensive Storms, and Verdi has bought himself some time.
He has indeed. He's actually still up in supply. He's 180 against 155 at the moment. I don't think Verdi actually realizes that he is perfectly fine up and mining on 3 bases, and Sting is actually still only on 2. He's moving forward towards the Ghost at the moment with that Archon, deciding the better of it in the last minute. But Sting really needs to start taking bases. He needs to start taking them fast. Otherwise, Verdi's just going to be able to resupply so quickly, it's not going to matter how good his micro is.
Well, that's an important thing to note. There's 3 bases down for Verdi against the 2 for Sting, and the worker count is pretty much bang on even, only 1 worker difference in favor of Sting. But even when you factor in yours, the fact that there's 3 base, it just means that actually the gas income is quite considerably higher for the Protoss player compared to the Terran, and as such, this is a very high-tech army at the moment for Verdi. But his Colossi count's still very low, only at 1, and to be honest, he looks like he just wants to end the game here.
And here we go. A couple of decent EMPs to start off with against the Zealots, but so many units coming in, and the Colossus in the back as well, doing so much damage to the bio. Sting is melting away at the moment, and the Vikings popping out, getting into the choke point with the bunker, forcing Verdi back just a little bit. But is it going to be enough? I think too many Zealots have fallen at this point. He needs to get more Zealots to the front before he continues to engage. 162 to 125 supply.
The important thing is the loss tab, though. We see that Sting has lost about 3,000 more resources than Verdi, or alternatively, another third. So as a result, we are just stuck in a position actually where we need to see Sting either have a great engage or expand, but he's not going to be able to expand for the moment, so he's got to defend this well. The push coming in towards the natural, we see so much damage being done, but Sting just in such a good defensive turtled up space that actually Verdi not able to take him out quite yet.
I think Verdi's actually playing this a little bit too conservatively. The upgrade's a 1-1 for Sting versus +3 armor for Verdi. He technically has enough units that he could probably trade most of that army off and know that he's still on 3 base versus 2 base. So I'm a little bit surprised he's not being a little more committed. He's also got observers with this army, so he's not going to get caught out by some sneaky Widow Mines as well. He has a lot of things in his favor right now, and I'd like to see him basically just go for a full frontal push. I think he can do it right now.
He's just got his mothership core out, and I mean, I'll be interested to see what he does with that, whether he brings it over to his army in order just to be prepared for a mass recall, because that could be something that will give him the confidence to just go straight in. But for the time being, just happy to contain Sting, and I'm actually going to say, yeah, do continue.
Well, here we go, and I do have to say, the one thing I'm very interested in seeing as the orbital command gets hit, it won't actually get taken down. We have got Sting retreating into an enclosed position right now, so what's going to matter is the storm. If we even get 2 good storms off on this army, the game could be over. 1 storm goes down. The 3rd CC is going to float over, but there's really not much that can be done about it right now. And here we go, the main engagement in the natural. We need to see a couple more storms there. Verdi needs to commit. He still has storms available to him, but he needs to move forward. And right now, Sting is buying himself a lot of time.
He's getting some more money snipes off, and the bottom line is that Sting is 60 supply behind. That is a massive advantage to Verdi, who is comfortably sitting on 3 bases and has been for a long time. Sting basically down to just 1 mining base mined out in his main. So now Verdi, I agree, he just should go for it, but he is biding his time. He just needs a couple of good storms, but he's contained Sting so well. What is he waiting for?
And in the meantime, Sting's actually landed his 3rd orbital command sneakily at the top right position there, and Verdi hasn't even gone to look for it. I wonder if he thinks it's dead. But a lot of High Templar are joining this army now. He really needs to move forward and just hit a whole bunch of storms and keep the momentum going. Every time I think I'm about to say, here we go, he gets 1 shot at him and then he pushes back. But I think this might be a bit more committal, or is it? He's moving sideways, allowing the army to get some shots off at him, and then he's moving away. Verdi needs to commit, otherwise Sting is going to get a much better engagement.
I just feel like saying, just press that 1 button and press that A button and click towards Sting's base, because my goodness, he has not got much stuff at all, but that supply count is ever getting closer, and Verdi, the longer he leaves it, the worse it actually gets for him.
And once again, donating a couple of Archons to the cause here. And he's only using his storms when he's running away, which means he's only getting 4 or 5 units with them. I don't understand what he's doing. It might still be enough, though, because he has 3 bases and he's spotted the 3rd orbital now. So even though a huge round of mules just went off for Sting there, he is not going to be on 3 bases any longer. And Sting has decided now is the time he needs to move out and secure his 3rd, or he's going to lose the game. Trying to move out, unable to do so, but Verdi simultaneously being very standoffish.
Verdi, just go. Go, Verdi. Go on, you can do it. No, don't run away. Ooh, we're retreating, and the good defensive storms are going to do a nice amount of damage, but some great EMPs, and Sting is going to follow up on this. And if Verdi doesn't engage soon, he's going to have trouble with the storms just wrecking this. Sting may be overcommitted here, and looking at the supply count tumbling for the Terran player, is this going to be it? I think it will.
It's such a difficult decision. I mean, at the end of the day, Verdi is in a position where, in theory, if he just keeps this up indefinitely, he wins.
Look at the damage these ghosts are doing. There's no observer. They are just chipping away at everything right now. But Verdi, I think he's still going to come out on top here, just pushing in finally. But those ghosts are destroying so much.
GG from Sting. Verdi takes a 2-0 victory over his Korean opponent, and Sting, ladies and gentlemen, is out of the ESET UK Masters Heart of the Swarm £10,000 open qualifier. What a result that